morning. Welcome to Village in Motion. Today is Tuesday, July 19th, 2016. My name is Susan Gerhard, and here in the studio with me, I have George Rollis. George is our new director for Garden Ridge section here at Green Spring. George, welcome.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you here with us. How long have you been here?
I started working here at Green Spring at the beginning of June, so about a month and a half.
And how do you like it?
I'm enjoying it so far.
Terrific.
Everything's been great. People here are very nice, very welcoming, and thank you for having me here today.
Tell us about yourself. You came to us from where?
I moved here from Asheville, North Carolina. I was born and raised on the coast in southeast North Carolina, a town called Wrightsville Beach. And for the last 4 years, I've been living and working in Asheville, North Carolina.
And you were working where in Asheville, doing what?
So I've been a licensed nursing home administrator in North Carolina for the last 7 years. And most recently, I was working at a facility called the Laurels of Hendersonville. It's a freestanding nursing facility that's not part of a continuing care retirement community like we have here at Green Spring. So this has been it's a big adjustment for me, and I'm excited to learn and to be here.
Good. And your background is what? How did you get into the nursing home administration field?
So that's an interesting question. I guess the short part is it's not anything that when I was little, I didn't aspire to be a nursing home administrator. It's not a field I ever really considered, even all the way through college. And after I graduated from North Carolina State University, I got a job at a nursing facility as the admissions director. And so that's the position where you're essentially the liaison for the facility, and you go to spend a lot of time out in the community, physician offices, at the hospital, to talk with folks who may need our services for short-term or for long-term care. And it was from that position I got some exposure to the facility, to the operations, and started to see the career and the opportunity. And so that kind of led to me working toward getting my administrator's license. And there's a process for each state to be a licensed nursing home administrator.
So there's very specialized training to become an administrator?
Yeah, they put you through some college level coursework. You have to do they call it an administrator in training program, which is essentially an internship at a nursing facility where you learn about each department in the facility, from nursing to therapy. You have to learn the financial and business end of things. You have to learn the housekeeping, dietary services, and that's a internship that can vary in North Carolina, can vary in length from as short as 3 months upwards of 12 months.
Interesting. Well, we're glad you're here. Glad you've come north.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So tell us about Garden Ridge. You have been introducing yourself to Garden Ridge and learning about it. Introduce us to Garden Ridge as you've learned about it.
Sure. So Garden Ridge, and I'm still learning, so forgive me if I have any inaccurate numbers, but I checked on these before I came, so I'm hoping they're accurate. But Garden Ridge is a total of 282 beds, and there are 3 levels of care. The first level of care is assisted living. And in assisted living, there's a total of 102 beds, and as we call it here, the neighborhoods are Evergreen 1, Rose Court 1, and Rose Court 2. So the assisted living is managed by Esther Akpom. She's our assisted living manager, and she has oversight of those assisted living beds.
So people who are in assisted living need some help with everyday tasks in their lives, but they don't need skilled nursing. They don't need 100% nursing care. They're just some things that they need help with that they're not able to do on their own, correct?
Correct. So with assisted living, the way I try to explain it is if someone can mostly do their activities of daily living on their own independently, such as getting up in the morning, getting dressed, going to the bathroom, can eat their meals independently, are able to walk pretty independently. Those are folks who may be appropriate for an assisted living level of care.
And my mother lived in assisted living for 12 years, and it's as you said, someone who just isn't able to live on their own, or maybe family members don't feel comfortable with the person living on their own, but just need a little bit of help.
Right.
And we have 102 beds, you said, in assisted living?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
And then the next level of care is?
And the next level of care is we call memory care.
Memory
So
care.
the memory care is a specialized assisted living, which are also, again, people who can do a lot of things on their own with a little bit of support, but the residents who are in memory care require a little more attention and a little more care when it comes to their decision making, when it comes to administering medication and things like that. And we have a special program in memory care, and our memory care is managed by Mana Lahai currently. He is, we're actually looking to hire a full-time manager, but Mana is currently fulfilling that role in the interim until we hire someone full-time.
And our memory care facility is a somewhat secure facility, correct?
Yes, yes. There is a secure, our memory care is located on Evergreen 3, which is the 3rd floor, and to enter or exit that particular neighborhood, you have to have a passcode to
Yeah,
enter
I don't
or
want to
exit.
say somewhat secure. It is a very secure
Yes.
facility for the safety of the residents who are there.
Yes.
And I'm sorry again, how many beds are there?
There are 44 beds on our
44
memory care
beds there.
neighborhood.
Okay. And then our third area is,
And the third area is skilled nursing.
okay,
Our skilled nursing is comprised of 136 beds, and this skilled nursing is split between short-term and long-term care.
okay,
So in the skilled nursing level of care, generally our residents in skilled nursing require a lot of assistance with their activities of daily living. In some cases, some residents are totally dependent on staff support to help them with their daily activities. And for our long-term skilled nursing beds, there are a total of 92 long-term beds, and those beds are located on Rose Court 3 and Rose Court 4. And our short-term skilled nursing neighborhood is located on Evergreen 2. So in the short-term neighborhood EV2, those residents will be typically not requiring lots of long-term care, but primarily their focus is on rehabilitation.
so these are people who maybe had a health emergency or a health crisis and spent some time in a hospital and are coming there for rehabilitation.
Right,
Are
right.
these always Green Spring residents, perhaps Green Spring either assisted living or independent living residents, or could it be someone from the outside who is coming to Green Spring for rehabilitation?
The overwhelming majority of our residents on our short term for EV2 are internal from Green Spring independent living.
Okay.
We do occasionally accept residents from outside of Green Spring, but we generally handle that on a case-by-case basis. But the overwhelming majority are internal Green Spring independent living residents.
Okay. What else is available in Garden Ridge? What else have you learned?
So I'm still learning a lot. A big adjustment that am continuing to learn and to make as I've started my new position is being part of a healthcare facility that is not a standalone freestanding building, but rather Garden Ridge is part of a larger campus here at Green Spring, and I think somewhere around 2,000 residents total. So it's a very different landscape than what I'm accustomed to, but it's been a very pleasant change, very positive change, certainly an abundance of resources here to provide good quality care, and that's something that I'm very pleased in seeing that the quality measures and metrics that are used to determine quality of care are very high. Our Garden Ridge is rated as a 5-star for overall quality by Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, and it's because we have very caring staff, good leadership, and I just want to continue that and to make things better.
I think Garden Ridge, for all of us living here, Garden Ridge is a very part of our decision to move here to Green Spring, knowing that we have that continuing care aspect of our home, making a home here at Green Spring. And it's very important to us to know that fine level of care is there. Talk to us about other things that happen at Garden Ridge. What kind of activities are available for residents who live there?
Sure. So our programming department is overseen by Renee Budd. She's our programming manager. She does an excellent job, and her staff do an excellent job. Just in the short time I've been here, there's a very busy activity calendar. We have, I've seen just in the last 30 days, we've had cookouts, there's been outings to dining out at local restaurants. A group of residents took a trip to the Holocaust Museum in DC. There's been outings for sporting events, scenic tours. There's always music that's happening throughout Garden Ridge. And in addition, we've recently had our Independence Day celebration and future holiday parties as we move forward into the year. We have spiritual services, a full-time chaplain on site, so there's plenty of activities. We offer a wide variety of activities, and from what I've seen, folks are very happy with what is offered and what's available at Garden Ridge.
In other words, this is not your grandmother's nursing home.
Correct.
This is not the old-time idea of where grandma was put away to stay. There are lots of activities, and I think we can encourage all of our residents with lots of volunteer opportunities at Garden Ridge.
Yes, we have a vibrant volunteer program. A lot of our volunteers, we have some volunteers from outside of Green Spring, but we do have a very significant and very special group of volunteers who are actually Green Spring independent living residents.
And if one wanted to volunteer to help out at Garden Ridge?
I would recommend contacting our volunteer coordinator, Catherine Noble. She's absolutely wonderful, and I think she's a big reason why we have a very positive, very active volunteer group, again, both internally from Green Spring and external volunteers as well.
Good, great. George, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
It's been great to learn about Garden Ridge, and one other thing I'll throw in here in our last few seconds, and that is to encourage all of our independent living residents to take a tour of Garden Ridge, to learn more about Garden Ridge and see what a wonderful place it is. And we look forward to seeing you here again.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
All right, take care. And we'll be back in just a few moments with a second segment.